everyone. As we are aware, Edukemy is running this series, this small series of picking up crucial PYQs and discussing them in a way that can help us in coming examinations as well. Keeping that in mind, I'm going to take up one important thread here. It is concerning, of course, your history, sphere of the paper. So if you notice 2020, 2019, these papers, you would realize that a lot of questions are being asked in your prelims examination but dealing with various sects of Buddhism, right? And they are going really in depth there. They're going really in depth there. In 2020, they went to the, extent of asking us about the subsects as well. Right? So in such a scenario, one thing could be to remember that because they have already explored it so much, probably they will ignore this topic this year. This is one attitude which we can have, right? Have a look. This is one question which they talk about. See, they're talking about Mahasangika. They're talking about Lokottarvadi. They are speaking about Sthavirvadi. Right? Similarly, in 2019 as well, they went into the philosophy part and they talked about aspects of philosophy of Mahayana Buddhism. So as I was telling you, when they are exploring such question, you can say that probably no more. But again, they can still, UPSC is a sick organization, we know it. So why not? Why not spend around like 15 minutes and ensure that we have enough knowledge to crack any sort of, hardcore question which may come here. And I will try and explain it in a very simple language, giving you enough sense that you can eliminate options by recalling few of the statements which we discuss here together. So let's have a look, right? I'll just try and give you some historical perspective here. The entire Sangha was very democratic in nature. Buddhist Sangha was very democratic in nature. There are signs of factionalism, difference of opinion right from the life of Buddha. Buddha's cousin, Devadatta, he was also a part of Sangha. And he differed, in a very caustic manner with Buddha on several key issues, which led to a lot of hostility among the two groups. As you can see in this picture, Devadatta made several attempts at Buddha's life as well. And at one point, Buddha became so sick and tired of it all that he left Vaishali. And he went for his Vasavas all alone, for his Varshavas all alone. He understood, Buddha understood that, schisms, factionalism is bound to happen somewhere down the line. I mean, he was the greatest of all teachers the world has produced. So he sensed, although Buddha had specifically, categorically asked his, pupils that, do not get into unnecessary philosophical arguments. But in spite of his clear direction, in spite of his silence on these questions, metaphysical questions such as what is God, what is soul, etc., his disciples did, enter into the most esoteric areas of philosophy, which even now the modern day psychologists are trying to utilize and understand. Some of them are really, really wonderful. So coming back to the point which I was saying, schism was but natural, and it seems Buddha had sensed it. See, in Mahaparinibbana Sutta, this is the teaching which Buddha gave when he was on his deathbed. He is saying Avoid idle talk and gossips. To the Sangha members, he is specifically saying that if you want to stay united, do this. The Sangha meetings should be orderly, harmonious. Upost celebration should be conducted in a very, very harmonious manner. Upost celebration are basically certain celebrations held on specific days of lunar cycle. I mean, different traditions have different Upost rituals. In Theravada, they celebrate it twice, on new moon and full moon. Others have different ones, right? So Upost celebration should be done in harmony. Elders must be obeyed. Buddha gave this much of understanding. But people did not listen. People do not listen. After Buddha's death, in fact, just 3 months after Buddha's death, around 500 arihants, the people who have attained enlightenment under Buddha's guidance, they met at Satapani caves in Rajgrah, Bihar, under the patronage of Ajatashatru. The objective was primarily to select. Sutra, to compile. Select is the wrong word actually. To compile Buddha's teachings known as Sutta Pitaka, and the discipline code of the code of conduct for monks and nuns known as Vinaya Pitaka, done by Anand and Upali respectively. Here as well, at the first council itself, there was a difference of opinion. Many strong personalities, they said that they do not accept the compilation of Sutta or Vinaya, and they will only believe what they themselves have seen Buddha speak about. So do you see, difference of opinion was common. For next 100 years, Buddhism expands. Buddhism expands beautifully. And as it expands, it encounters this diverse cultures beyond Gangetic Valley. The Sutta and Vinaya, they are explained, they are accommodated to suit local needs. And as a result, do you realize schism was inevitable? For next 100 years, as Buddhism expands, because these Sangha members, they work very passionately. But what they do, as they go to different geographies, different cultures they encounter, they, twist and turn, tweak the Sutta and Vinaya to accommodate local tastes, customs. And within 100 years, the differences of thought start appearing. This is known as first schism. The second one will be Mahayana one, which will happen later. This is the first schism. Right? So after 100 years, right, of Buddha's death, a conference takes place at Vaishali. A conference takes place at Vaishali. And here at Vaishali, right, this agreement starts over Vinaya. This agreement starts over 10 points of Vinaya. There were 10 rules of Vinaya, proscriptions of Vinaya. There were these 10 activities which these monks and nuns were not entitled to do. Right? Two groups emerged. Two groups emerge here in this context. The younger monks, sorry for the childish fonts, sorry for the childish, graphics. I apologize, man, but it helps, right? So, the younger monks who were living in Vaishali, who were locals, they were in a majority. While the elderly monks and nuns who were coming from outside, they were in a minority. This group, the younger natives of Vaishali, they believed that Vinay should change to adapt to the changing circumstances. They wanted those 10 rules to be gone. While these elders, they said, no, the Vinay must stay intact. The majority, of course, won the day. They came to be called as Mahasanghika. While these guys, the elders and people who have come from outside Vaishali, who were in a minority, who wanted the strict Vinay, they came to be known as Sthavirvadi or Theravadi. Right? Sthavirvadi or Theravadi. These were some of those 10 proscriptions. They cannot accept gold and silver. They cannot drink unfermented wine. Right? They cannot eat when shadow of sundial is a 2 finger past the noon. So do you see, these are strict disciplinary code of conducts. They were present. The younger locals, Mahasanghika, they wanted them to be changed. They wanted Vinay to be relaxed. Right? They wanted to accept gold and silver. They wanted to use fringed carpets. It is this Mahasanghika which starts a deification of Buddha. It is this Mahasanghika which develops its ideas on Arihant and Arahat. These ideas, it is this Mahasanghika which started anthropomorphizing, representing Buddha in human form. This Mahasanghika does influence Mahayana. A lot of other sects will also influence Mahayana. I'll speak about it in a while, right? So Mahasanghikas, right? Over the next, so what will happen is something like this. More than 18 sects will emerge gradually in next 700 years. From this first schism, Mahasanghika will get into Mahasanghika will divide into 7 sects, while Sthavirvadi or Theravadi, they will divide themselves into 11 sects. Exact classification differs from source to source. The number also differs from source to source. You get me? You get me, right? So, for example, Mahasanghika, this breaks into Lokottarvadi, etc. Theravada, that also breaks into Sarvastivad, Vaibhashika, Sautrantika, right? ये देखो, the Sthavirvadi. Who are the Sthavirvadi? Sthavirvadi are the elder foreign who wanted a strict Vinay. These are known as Sthavirvadi. At times, in several sources, also called as a Theravadi. But there is a slight difference as far as I could perceive. There is a slight difference. Anyway, moving on. So Sthavirvadi, right? They emerge as well. I mean, Sthavirvadi to the hi, but Sthavirvadi, they got divided in 3rd century BCE. Between these two, between this and this. Sarvastivadi, also known as Vaibhashika, because they believe in Mahavibhash text. I'm just trying to make your job easy in prelims. मुझे खुद भी बहुत अच्छी समझ नहीं है, frankly speaking. जो छोटी खोपड़ी में समा रहा है वही आपके संग शेयर कर रहा हूं, ठीक है भाई? So I'm just trying to simplify it. I hope that is what is happening here. So please once again understand. First schism at Vaishali, 100 years after second council, 100 years after Buddha's death. Mahasanghika goes away, and Sthavirvadi or Sarvastivadi, Sthavirvadi or Theravadi. This Sthavirvadi or Theravadi, they further break down into Sarvastivadi, who believe that all is real. Your past dharma, your present dharma, your future dharma, everything is real. And then Vibhajyavadi, who made a distinction between these dharma. Vibhajyavadi, right? These are, both of them are subsects of Sthavirvadi or Theravadi. This, I think, is a pretty interesting way to represent it. See, Sthavirvad, Mahasanghika. Sthavirvad breaks into Vibhajyavad and Sarvastivvad. From Vibhajyavad emerges Theravada. That is all probably you should how look at it. But as I was telling you, in several sources, Sthavirvad is also written as Theravada. So I assure you that UPSC will not give you a question which is in any which way doubtful. Right? तो अपने को बहुत कम चीजें समझनी है बस, and then we will be exam ready. Isn't it? That's the idea, man. That's the idea. No need. I'm not trying to, unnecessarily give you random information. No. Mahasanghika also breaks down into so many 7 sects, man. Just read them once. That's all you can do, probably. So this is a Sthavirvad. If you see, this again is a very, very wonderful representation. From Sthavirvad, or let's say this is the first Sangha. This is the first Sangha. So from the first Sangha, Mahasanghika gets out. What is remaining is Sthavirvad. From Sthavirvad, Sarvastivvad gets out. Sarvastivvad, which believes that all is real. And from Sarvastivvad, we hear of Sautrantika and Vaibhashika. Sautrantika and Vaibhashika. This is how Buddhism spread so many places. These are various, schools of Buddhism as they spread to these faraway lands. I would ask you to remember, focus on Mahayana. Mahayana emerges in around 150 BCE. Right? And the key philosopher here is, of course, Nagarjuna from Andhra region. Right? And he establishes the Madhyamika Marg. Shunyavadi as it is known, right? Then Yoga Char. This is also established by, Asang and Vasubandhu. Those are the guys, isn't it? And then I really do not know much about these, so I cannot comment. Another one which I would advise you to know is Vajrayana, and especially know Tibetan Buddhism. Especially know Tibetan Buddhism, because Tibet, Dalai Lama and all, they are extremely important for us. So Gelug, they are known as Yellow Hat. That is the sect to which Dalai Lama is a venerated, Bodhisattva, avatar of a Bodhisattva Avalokiteshwar, Gelug subsect, right? So these are few things which I can probably in such a small time we can discuss. So yeah, maybe finally as a parting thought, I would just like to add one thing. I just told you that, Sautrantika and Vaibhashika. So I think I should maybe these are, part of Theravada or Heenyan. Heenyan is a pejorative term. Mahayanis started calling all these other people as Heenyani, right? The inferior vehicle. So these Sautrantika and Vaibhashika, they are important because Wayne Sang mentions about them, right? So the one basic difference which probably you can keep in mind is Sautrantika, they believe that reality can be known through inference, through reasoning. If this is true, then this ought to be true, using your reason. While Vaibhashika, that they believe, right? They believe that external world is directly perceived through senses. So they give stress to your senses, your perception rather than inference. On that note, I believe I would like to end this small little discussion. I hope it was fruitful. A lot of such questions appear. I would also advise you to go and read about Terapanthi, Bisapanthi, ये जो मुंपट्टी बांधते हैं, right? All those guys, the sects of Jainism, you should also be aware of that. God bless you. Best of luck. Keep studying and keep having fun. Bye. Take care.